You're now listening to Mooncakes. Welcome to Mooncakes Podcast, episode 20. Yeah, feeling a little stressed out or anything? A good evil laughter is always helpful.
Oh yeah, it got kind of like, it loosened me up. And I just feel happy. It just hits good, like it just creates like happy endorphins.
It does. Serotonin.
Yeah.
Dopamine.
Yeah, it kind of gets your adrenaline running too.
Yeah.
I like it. I like. Also, you don't have to be evil to have an evil laugh.
No. It could just be a good laughter, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God. There's this one time where I love this one laugh. Can you remind me what you were laughing about? You and another friend were visiting me and Joseph in Las Vegas. And we went to, I don't know why, but we went to Tommy Bahamas in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's coming back to me, yes.
And our other friend she's like never gone high. And we all smoked a little bit and we went there. I think we went there because it was comfortable. Like we knew it was going to be quiet and comfortable.
Tommy Bahamas, okay.
I know it's so like out of.
So we were all high except this friend.
No, she was high too. Everyone was high.
Oh, she was high too.
But like, I don't know what made you laugh. We all laughed, but I loved your reaction because we were all quiet for a second. We're all talking, and then something happened, and you looked down, and then you laughed so hard that you threw your head back, and you were like, ha ha ha. Like, I don't know. Do you remember?
I wish I remembered, but I was high, so I definitely would not remember. I definitely would not remember.
Damn it. I wish we knew what we were laughing about.
But I love those kind of laughs where you're just like a guttural, like, oh, thank you.
Uh-huh.
This guttural laugh. It's like, this uncontrollable laughter. You're just crying so hard. It's just
so satisfying.
Those are one of the best.
The best. And I feel like I have a lot of those laughs with you and Donna. Like, yes. We have a lot of those, and I think that's what definitely kept us, friends.
Yeah, no, it was totally we're just joking. We joke all the time, and we just have the same humor. The time.
Yeah.
Just like a dorky kind of like just
no shame.
No shame kind of humor. It's so great. But yeah, actually, for those of you who don't know Donna is my twin, my fraternal twin, and she was on our last episode 19. So if you want to get a little bit about Donna more and everything and how she sounds like and everything, be sure to listen to our last episode 19.
Yeah.
But you know what was exciting was our first fan email.
Oh, yeah, that was really sweet.
Yes, so sweet. We're not going to get into details too much about it. But
and surprising, it's like, you don't know when to expect it.
Yeah.
And it was so supportive and positive and also showed that someone, like, far away from us had similar experiences, like what we were talking about, hit home with them. And that's really awesome. It felt so nice to hear back what they thought. And stuff.
I mean, just to know, because we're doing this and this is our 20th episode, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And we're just being ourselves and just doing our best, right?
Yeah.
And just to know that it's connected with you listeners, and at least to this one listener, it connected with them, like, and for them to take the time to reach out to us.
Oh, yeah, definitely the time.
It makes us feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Yeah. It made me feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
Liz is like texting me like, telling me like, we got our
Well, first of all, I tried to call you.
She tried to call me, but I was
so excited. I was so excited, and I was like, I want to share this excitement with her.
And now we can share the excitement right now.
Yeah, but now we're sharing the excitement now. But I was like, she's like, I'll call you later. And I was like waiting and waiting and waiting. I was like, Like, this is what my brother said. Tell her you were like waiting like a little puppy.
Oh no, sorry, Liz.
No.
Yeah,
but I knew you were really busy.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it was really exhausting that day.
Yeah. I was working on set, so I haven't been on set for a long time.
Wait, with your sister? Or
no. It was production. It was with well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, like what show
don't
it is
say
and stuff
that,
like that, but it's just for a pilot episode for reality and stuff. But they just called me, but they got my number because I previously worked on Housewives. So they got my number because they wanted someone that had that worked experience in reality and stuff, specifically with Housewives. But and they got it from a crew member that used to work with me. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like,
that's really awesome. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it totally did. And
good vibes.
But at the same time, like, it's been a while since I've been on set, and you
wanted to do your best.
I wanted to do my best, of course, but also like I had like some reservations. Like, can I still do it? Yeah. Like, I just, to production coordinate, like, it takes time, and it takes a certain just mental energy. And like, my self-esteem hasn't been the best recently, just because, like, I mean, it's happened so many years ago. It's like when, like, it was in 2017 was my last, like, mental breakdown, I guess you could call it. And I, from there, it really sucked because it happened at work, and that sucks. And it was off,
very public.
On location.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, luckily, thank God, it wasn't here with the usual crew members and people I work with. It was.
You were in Florida or something?
I was in Maine.
Maine.
I'm sorry. I was in Portland. Yeah, like that area. And it was really tough because the one person I did work with, he's like a higher up, right? And he's working as the production manager, I think, on there, or the producer, one of the things. But he knew me from working with me on other Housewives episode. And he's the one that saw me. And then luckily it was just a few of them, and just women, one woman who's one of the producer, and then two other people that I worked under. But they're all three ladies. And then the guy that I worked with, and they saw what I was manic, and that was really tough. That was really tough because I felt like I really let them, especially the one that hired me, because he worked with me. He like vouched for me, and I feel like I really let him down, and just let the whole team down. Like, it's like it's a production family and everything, but it's like a team. And I feel it really dropped the ball. But it's because but also it really sucked because you can't really control when you are going to have a mental breakdown or not, right? So it was really tough to recover from that, and to hear, like, I had to go home. Like, my twin sister Donna from New York drove up to meet up with me and to take me to the nearest, like, just inpatient. She actually first took me to a doctor just to it's blurry, right? Because I'm manic, so I don't remember the details, but I just remember there's like this one point where we had to get on the airplane and fly back to the West Coast, fly back home.
And that's all a blur to you.
I remember little bits of it. I just remember I was manic, and Donna's biggest fear was that they would not let me fly because I was not fully there. And I was like manic. And so I just remember her taking me to the restroom right before the flight, and she's like, Debbie, like, please, like, you really need to, like, just hold it together until we can get home. Like, just really try to, like, calm yourself down for this flight. And I really did my best. And I made it. I made it. They didn't kick me off the flight.
So no outburst, nothing.
No, not that I remember.
And that's from East Coast to California.
Yes.
LAX.
LAX or Long Beach.
Long Beach or something.
I'm not 100% sure, but
So you were good for that 6
for that
hours?
flight. Yeah, for that flight.
Yeah.
From what I remember. It was very blurry, but like I didn't get kicked off.
You
so,
did it. You did it.
I did it. But I just remember like as soon as I landed, they took me, like we went to like a place to just voluntarily check myself in. And I knew something was wrong. I wasn't like, I'm not going. I'm not going. Yeah. They're just like, oh, let's go to In-N-Out and let's take you to, let's take you to, because I was like, I want In-N-Out. Like, all right, let's take her to In-N-Out. And then after that, then they're like, all right, I'm ready to go. Like, you could take me now.
You're definitely in California if you're getting In-N-Out.
Yeah. You know? So they took me there, and
that's nice.
It was nice, and to have my so supportive my family. But what just sucked was like the aftermath, like having to. As soon as I got out, like I just realized what happened and what went down. Like I emailed like the female producer who like was really sweet to me on set, you know, when we were on location, and just to thank her so much and like to apologize. And I CC'd, of course, like copied the man that hired me that I've known, and I'm not gonna say his name, but like you know, the one I felt I let down. I didn't write him a direct. I might have wrote him an email too, but like I don't think he. I think he acknowledged it, but they're like, no, we're just glad you're okay, and like, you know, we wish you the best, kind of thing. And you know, once that I didn't disclose to anyone at that point that I'm bipolar. Obviously, you don't do that at a workplace, right? This is a lot of liability, and so everyone on the West Coast that I worked with, the crew, everyone just had to hear from the grapevine, like what happened. And they're like, wait, what happened? Debbie was on set, something happened, and like I don't know if they disclosed the details of to them of the crew what happened, because they weren't working on the same show as me. It was just a smaller show that was going on that I worked on off on location, and they basically told my production manager and my producers that I worked with for Orange County Housewives all this time. They're like, you know, when the show comes up again, like for the next season, when it gets if it gets renewed, and it does, like, I'm sorry, like I don't know what they said to them, but they basically told I the reason why I know this conversation is because at a barbecue, I was invited to go to a barbecue and see those same people that I work with. And because we have, you know, the crew member I'm still friends with and stuff. And that took me a lot of courage to see them again. But I asked them, like, oh, how's it going? Like, let's just call him Matt. How's it going, Matt? And stuff. He was like my production manager kind of thing. And he was like super sweet to me. And he was just like, yeah, like, hey, Debbie, like, oh, I'm glad, like, you're okay and stuff. Like, we were just, like, worried and stuff. And, like, I'm sorry I didn't reach out to you personally. But, like, you know, it just sucked because we were told, like, not to hire you again. And so I was like, I had a feeling, of course. Like, of course, like, they don't want the liability, and it's totally understandable. Like, you know, they were told not to hire me. So it's like, I knew that was the case, but just to hear it also, like, it just hurts, you know? So, you know, that really affected my self-esteem and stuff. And so but then from there, I was able to create my short film. And that's when I made my short film about mental health and everything. And then that's when I embraced it. I finally was like, you know what? It's out there. I'm tired of, like, living this double life and just being ashamed of, like, my mental illness, you know? It is what it is. This is the life I live. And so 2017 was rough, but it was also the time where I got back and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put 100% into making my short film happen. And that's what I did. I made it happen. And so
we'll go ahead and put the link in the description so you guys can check that out.
It's called Ready.
Yeah, it's only 15 minutes, and it would be really helpful if you guys viewed it, shared it, liked it. That would be really, really cool. And it's really well made. You guys, she you know, wrote it, directed it, filmed it.
I raised the money.
You raised the money for it,
and then I hired an actual crew to, like, film it and all that. So I had an amazing crew and cast.
Check it out.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost any money. Just check it out.
Yeah,
Click the link below, guys.
And so it was just like but even after I was done with that, I was like, I just still kind of scarred from that whole thing. And
it's trauma.
Totally is. So so then when I got this call saying like, oh, did you I got your number from so and so, like I heard you had experience working on reality, especially with Housewives.
Do you know specifically who it was?
Yes, I do know the crew member, and it's very nice of him.
That's very nice.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
because like maybe the higher ups told them not to hire you, but
it was many years ago. It was 2017, so it's been like, it's been what, 4 years ago now. So then maybe like time has passed, and maybe they're just like. The crew members like, well, it's still Debbie, they're still like, if maybe they're just super desperate. If they really needed a day player, a day player meaning they just need someone for the day to just work on this one day. I'm like, oh, I can do that, right? It was just like the perfect amount. It's a small crew. Yeah. I can do that.
That's awesome.
I can handle it.
Yeah, this happened all the time because you would have told me about this. I guess
it was last minute. Yeah. It was like happening.
Did you get the phone call when you were on your trip or? On your way back?
Yeah, it was like right before my trip. I got this phone call and I was like, can I do it? I don't know. And so, but then I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. Yeah. I just want to see if I can do it. If I still got it in me, right?
It's a little step.
Yeah, it's a little step, and it was just kind of a confidence booster. Yeah, like, I can still do this, and like I still got it. So it was great. The shoot went smooth, but that's when you like try like text me or call me, and then I was like, oh, like I'll call you later, Liz, and then like. No, I just got so tired.
Well, I knew because usually you'd be like, hey, Lizzie. And then this one was like, hey, on set right now. Call you later. I was like, that doesn't sound like Debbie. Yeah. But I was like, okay. At first I was sad because I was really excited about this fan mail and I wanted to share them all. But at the same time, I was like, I gotta respect Debbie. She doesn't do that, so she must be really busy right now.
Yeah.
Really intensely busy.
Yeah. I'm sorry if the text came off as rude or something. I did not mean like that. I just really
I love you, Debbie.
I love you too, man.
I love you. I can't stay mad at you.
That's when you told me, you're like, we got our first fan mail. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I really wanted to like call you at that moment and just like, share that moment with you. But I also at the same time was like not in the right headspace. And
no, it's good that you did that.
Yeah, because
you put yourself.
But then in my mind, I was just like, this would be a really good like on our podcast. To like finally talk about it in person and just be like, that's so exciting. Like when Liz told me like we had our first fan email, like I was like, I was like super happy. I was like, that's awesome, and I again like it's just to hear back from you guys, just to like wow, someone's listening and like someone took the time to to write an email and like reach out to us and just describe how much they connect with us. Yeah, it really means a lot.
It does. So thank you. Yeah,
and our TikTok video, we got 2 comments.
Yeah, that is so nice. No,
people laughed their ass off, and like people like thought it was random but funny, and like that's who we are, random and funny.
Exactly. So, it was very true. Like their comments was very true to how to describe our humor. So it was nice because it was who we are genuinely. Yeah,
exactly. And I love that this podcast allows us to just be ourselves, genuinely. Yeah. And so I'm glad that we're like got to talk like face to face, like and just be like, like our first year. It only took 20 episodes, but 19 episodes. We got it.
We should print it. I think I might print it out and frame it. You know how like people have like their first $100 bill or first like couple dollars at a restaurant or something. This is like definitely something.
No, we're totally printing out. No,
yeah,
I got a printer. I'm totally gonna print it out, and we're gonna do that.
And shout out to the person. We're gonna ask permission if we could shout out your name, but for now, we want to
thank you. We just want to thank you.
Genuinely, thank you.
You know who you are. Yeah. But we just want to say thank you so much, just at the bottom of our heart for just like taking that time to just reach out to us. Like it really means so much to us, and to know that we're being heard and you connect with us in that level really means so much to us. And so you're awesome, and very
good writer.
You're an excellent writer.
Yeah, exceptional.
Exceptional. Made us feel really good.
Yeah, it did.
But yeah, thank you so much. But yeah, so I don't know what you've been up to since I last saw you.
I've been grinding.
Grinding.
Yeah, I've been hustling. Just like been working on a lot of things, and I'm just starting to see that that light at the end of the tunnel. You know, just understanding what direction to finally go in. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people understand the direction that they should be going in, and for a long time it was just kind of like up in the air. But you know how I found it is just relaxing, just taking it easy, not
just in this rat race.
Yeah,
and just like boom, boom, boom.
yeah.
boom.
Because in the last couple of podcasts, I was talking about like I don't know exactly where I was going at that time in the previous podcast, but I learned that relaxing and not being so hard on yourself helps you to be more open-minded, and you're more you're able to see things that you may not have been able to pick out if you were on this like such fast-paced life.
Totally.
You know, so like
slowing down really makes you kind of allows you to reassess everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And just see things with kind of a clearer mind.
Yeah, definitely. And so like all of a sudden, since I'm letting all the negativity go, or majority of that negativity that I can let go at this time, has really been able to help me to really redirect myself and find like new goals and also making plans. Like last couple podcasts, or in the beginning of this, I didn't have a plan. I had somewhat of a plan, but they weren't so
solidified or like
solidified
concrete
and stuff. Yeah. So because I was able to practice being calmer, taking my time to take care of myself, relaxing, you know, not being so hard on myself if I don't finish everything on my to-do list. It got me finally to this point.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it might not be much to other people, but I was really amazed that it's just changed so many things in my life. So yes, I'm still working at a lot of things, but now I feel like I'm not just going all over the place. You might feel like you've lost control and you're just like all over the place. Your mind is scattered and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a light for you to chill out, my friend. You know what I mean? And it's definitely worked for me. So that's what I've been up to.
Nice. So what, if you don't mind me asking, like, what is like the little bit description of your plan that you've
my
kind
plan
of made for yourself?
So,
and it's okay if it's not like concrete or like you're still kind of deciding.
Yeah. So this podcast has really helped put like a backbone on everything. It's helped me to execute like more projects. Like just doing this every week has helped me to finally put into play all my other projects and put a date, like a timeline for it.
Got it.
Maybe not solid, finish like completion days, but it's helped me to move on.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Also like telling me like, oh, my projects don't have to be perfect to put out. The most important thing is that you're always practicing, creating, and posting it, and appreciating what you've made at that moment.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, I love like so far like the things that you've created, Liz, especially for our Instagram. Like that's all Liz. Like she's like created all these like collages and pictures and just our cover photos and everything, and it's just it really. I mean, I could just see the creativity that comes out of it, and like Donna loves it, and it's just hilarious. Like,
thank you.
It just brings a lot of joy to us.
Thank you.
And yeah, you just like do such a great job, and it's just I'm glad that like you said, this podcast, just doing our best to meet every week has really helped me. Like, even though like there's moments where like yes, like sometimes I still find myself a little down, whatever, like in
which is normal.
Days, which is normal.
I do that too.
I just to have this podcast definitely something to look for me to look forward to, especially during this time of age or this moment in time where we're living this pandemic, and yes, there's a light in the tunnel. People we're trying to get vaccinated and everything, and it's not as bad, but just to not have that human contact that whole time, like, would be really rough on me. Like, I didn't realize, like, it's so nice to see a familiar face. Like, it's great that I have my family here, that I live at home with my family, and I see my sister. That's great too. But just to see you, Liz, and just to see how you're doing and connect with you and reminisce about things, and also talk about the present moment, and like whether it's our first fan email or just our childhood memories. It's just, it gives me that boost of just happiness. I think it's just happiness and just this something to look forward to.
Yeah, and I feel like more happiness brings, like, it just more happiness gravitates towards you, because that's what you're exuding, and that's what you're attracting.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I mean, you guys can listen through our podcast. We are still struggling. We have our own struggles.
Gosh, we do.
But if you take the time and you understand why it's important for you to be happy, not just for yourself, and you're in like a tough spot, learning to just be grateful for little things and being happy with what you have at that moment, things will start happening. It's so weird. Like, people are like, oh, I don't believe in that law of attraction stuff and everything. And like, I've gone to the places where I've been so desperate that I'm willing to try whatever, man. Like, just give me whatever. I'm going to try it. If it doesn't cost anything, I'm going to do it, And I feel like I took everything that, like, free information, and I just tried to practice it, a little bit every day. And at first it's so foreign. And maybe there's times where you can't even find even one thing to be grateful for, but you take every day one step at a time.
One step at a time.
You start to find little things that you're grateful for.
That brings you joy, even if it's just a little joy. Like, hold on to that.
Yeah, just
hold
a little
on
bit.
to it, and just do your best to expand on it.
Yeah, exactly.
And not dwell on the negativity.
Yeah.
And expand. You don't want to expand on that.
Yeah.
You want to expand on those little joys that bring you joy, and to keep adding on to that.
Yeah, because your negativity can blind you to so many.
Oh my gosh! It's like it almost like it gives you tunnel vision, and all you see is just negativity, and you're just like, well, my life sucks. Nothing's ever gonna get better, so why even try? This and that, like, and I've been there too.
Yeah,
I've been in that.
We've both been there. We've been there. And there's times
shitty.
where it's shitty, and I'm sure the challenges will keep on coming.
The challenges will always keep coming, but it's just, and this is what I learned. Maybe, like, even though you can't change the way something happens, like, shit will happen. Like, just bad things will happen. But what you do have control over is how you let it affect you, and how you let it affect your day.
Yeah.
That's your perspective on it.
Yeah.
And so, I totally agree. And it's funny because before I worked on that day, it's just a 1 day thing, and that's all I can handle at the moment. Like, I think in my mind, 'cause I don't know if I want to production coordinate and get back into that groove again. But I still remember, I think it was like maybe the day before, it's been a while, but like, I prayed. Like, I prayed, just whether you believe in God or not, I prayed kind of to the universe, or like letting out my wants and desires. I was like, hey, I've been feeling pretty shitty, and I just want to, like, get some work. Just something. Just something to let me know that I still got it. I'm still able to do it. Just something that's, like, even though I do work with my sister once a month at least and stuff, like, something that, like, isn't given to my, like, not through family. Not through, like, through
something just different about that.
There's something on my own. Yeah. On my own, I was able, on my own merit, by my own merits and my own by my own hard work, I was able to get some work that's not due to my family or sister giving me work. Yeah. And so I was like, hey, like, give me something. Like, universe, give me something that's not, like, doesn't have to be crazy, like, just something just to, like, so I just feel like that I can do this still. Like, I still have, like build my self-confidence again. And sure enough, I swear it was like the next day I get this call from the line producer asking me like, hey, I got your number from so and so,
Yeah.
and I know so and so. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And she's like, yeah, let me know if you're able to work on this coming Monday. It's just for the day, and it'll be for a production coordinator position, and blah blah blah, all that stuff. And I was like, all right. At first I was like scared. At first I was like, oh, man. Hesitant. I was like, what if I can't do it anymore? It's been a long time. I don't know.
And when you first got the phone call and you heard what they wanted,
I missed the phone call. Yeah.
So when you heard the voicemail, so did you think you're like, holy shit, I asked for this, but I didn't think it was gonna come that quick. Did you? Yeah. Or did you remember that after you got off the phone?
I didn't even like honestly.
Did it click for you or later? Did it later?
Actually, it didn't really click for me that I asked for this until I actually just sat down with you right now.
Oh, really?
Because I was like, I'm thinking about it, and I just like I kind of put two and two together right now. Yeah. I was just like, you're just talking about law of attraction, like speaking what you want, and I was like, I distinctly remember like a day before, like getting that call, just like I just need something, like I just need something. So like again, I'm not saying you gotta believe in God, but it's just like believe in that the universe wants good things for you. I believe, not saying it has to have this personality, but like,
you have to allow yourself
to like to if you never voice your desire, whether mentally or audibly or just mentally, just like say it in your mind, saying like what you want, then it's like, how's anything ever gonna happen to you if you never set it into motion of what you really want and sit down? Yeah. So it was nice. I was like, all right, cool. Like,
that's neat.
I'll accept that, So like just a day job, just for the day. I'm like,
perfect.
It was perfect. And and then that same day, you tell me that we got a fan email, and so I'm just like, okay, like as much as like I like working. I've always enjoyed working. I always enjoyed being like in that sense, just working and just being around people. I just realized how much I enjoy this podcast and how much I enjoy just being part of it. And like, it'd be great eventually, like I could put more time in this and just, it makes me want to, especially with our first fan email, like it just encourages, at least for me, like to keep going on this and to keep doing this.
We're not just talking to like dead space. Yeah,
exactly. It kind of motivates me. And so I just, I'm really thankful for this podcast. And, I'm just really, like you said, it's really important to just take moments, which I'm doing right now at this moment, to express my gratitude and just be thankful that we can do this.
Yeah.
And
I know it's pretty crazy. We have the equipment, the technology to do it. I feel very thankful. Like in so many places in this world, it's so difficult to even get any of these equipment, even let alone a phone.
Exactly.
So I really do feel like before I was like, I kept on thinking about what I don't have.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have this. I don't have the career. I don't have the title. I don't have this. I don't have that. It just puts you in a really bad downward spiral. And right when I changed the mindset, ideas came up. Projects started moving. Like now I'm going to do a project with my brother. We're starting his YouTube channel about, his recovery. He got in an accident. We turned a bad solution, a bad problem, unfortunate situation, and we're making it into a creative, positive situation. I love that. I'm just like, bring on the challenges, because it's another opportunity to creatively flip it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So
this is a time. I think this is like the best time to be alive when it comes to,
I agree,
technology and being creative and being able to express yourself through all these different mediums, and different ways. And it's to connect with people. I think ultimately what, at least for me, what can bring me down and everything is when I start isolating myself.
Yeah.
Once you start isolating yourself, you isolate yourself with your negative thoughts. Then those negative thoughts come in, and then all you feel and notice are those negative thoughts. So
in your world is so small just alone. But when you bring a little bit new energy into it, just like your world expands. And I feel like, you know, in this time right now, like, you know, we are experiencing a lot of like hate towards of different minorities and stuff, but really understand that everyone is interconnected. We are a network together, and just like the more people, the more that work together, the more it's better for everybody. And I think a lot of people forget that, and they think that by just eliminating somebody is going to make it better.
I think it's just fear.
It's fear-based,
and it's just kind of fear, and also just selfishness. Like they just think they live in a scarcity mindset. Like there's not enough.
Yeah, definitely. And then maybe also like there's not enough conversations, or people are afraid to have conversations and stuff. And I feel like that's where a lot of my negativity came from, because my family never wanted to have discussions or conversations about certain topics. And that's where the anger and the hate came from within myself. And
you never got to express.
Never got to express, never got to
your
make
point of view,
never had any kind of dialogue, you know, like.
Yeah, you never got to hear what they had to say. Yeah. And they never got to hear what you had to say. So you have to base on assumptions and base on like, well, I guess they don't like me, or I guess maybe this is the reason why. And you just will never know because you never got to have that conversation. And it just builds this, like you said, like
bad energy,
anger. Frustration, resentment. But how amazing would it be if you could just sit down with them and just,
hey, I have a problem.
Have a talk.
Yeah.
And for them to listen. Truly listen. Yeah. An open dialogue. Yeah. Instead of shutting you down, belittling you, and making you feel like your emotions and feelings aren't valid. Yeah.
I think that's what it is with a lot of the events happening, the unfortunate events that are happening nowadays is there's not enough people like understanding that, hey, just by sitting down and taking the time to talk to one another, even if they're feeling, there's so much to learn in that area. You know what I mean? Even for me, for a lot of people in this modern day, it's hard to sit down and talk to the other person calmly when there's a problem.
Yeah, you know I think it's, we're so, I guess in a way, we're just technology driven when it comes to expressing ourselves. I guess for some people it's a tweet, some people it's on social media, like different ways of expressing themselves, right? But ultimately everyone in essence just wants to be heard. Yeah. And they just want to be heard, and their feelings feel valid. And so I think a lot of the hate that goes on, the fear and all that could instantly disappear if, like you said, if that person could sit down really, whether they need to seek help or sit down with therapy to express themselves and hear someone reason with them, or talk with the person that wronged them, whatever it is, to reach that sense of peace. But I understand that not everyone has that luxury, first of all, to get a therapist, or secondly, like, the person that they do want to talk to is not open to receptive to have that dialogue.
Yeah, and I completely understand that part too, because a lot of my family, the older people in my family, it's just impossible. You know, even till today, it's impossible. Everything is very on the surface. It's I mean, it could possibly change, but I mean, I understand when it's impossible, and that's why we have the beauty of internet, of being able to connect with people all around the world. Find that, you know, just be open to searching, continuously to learn about yourself and find other means to to go on your journey.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's where I found all this information, start to better yourself so that you can find peace.
And even if, let's say, someone wrongs you, whoever that is, and you're never able to sit down and have a adult face-to-face conversation with them, an open, warm dialogue with them, and you're never able to have that, let's say, okay? But you have all this resentment, have all this anger. There comes a point where, not saying you have to forgive that person, but I'm saying that in order for you to have your mental peace and happiness, there comes a point where you have to let go. Let go of that anger. Let go of that frustration and just accept this is what it is, but I'm not going to allow it to bring me anger anymore. I'm not going to allow it to dictate how I live my life and be afraid or whatever. Like, I have to let that go. Like, it is what it is. And like, I will never get that sorry from that person. And that's okay, because I'm still breathing. I'm still alive. I myself will never do that to another person and wrong someone in that way that person has wronged me. And that's a lesson learned. And if you can, as painful as that is, at least you learn from that lesson of being with that person and set your boundaries. And even if it's a family, a loved one, you still have to set your boundaries if that person is so toxic. Like, there comes a point where you do have to set some boundaries and sometimes maybe even disconnect, It's just really, you got to do what brings you mental, like, peace, know? Without harming anybody physically, okay? Okay? Like, you need to figure out what brings you peace, but that's obviously not without causing physical, mental, emotional harm to anybody else.
I think that's what I had a hard time, because I kept on reading, like, you have to let go. And I'm like, I'm trying to let go, okay? I'm trying to let go of this feeling, because I don't want it either. It's driving me nuts too. But how I found a way to let go is finding my strengths, the things that I love to do, and continuously try to better in whatever I'm interested in. Like, let's say I'm really resentful to a lot of family members and stuff, and it was really there. It was very alive in my heart that I did not like these family members. Instead of I redirected my energy into creativity or whatever you're interested in. Find that thing. That's why people are like, oh, get a hobby. I'm like, oh, well, what's the point of hobbies? You're just doing shit. You're just trying to pass the time. It's so important to find something that you honestly brighten up to do, to learn more of it. Because really, you can't learn something. If you want to master something, you're continuously learning, for the rest of your life. There's so much information, so many things to learn about one thing. And so I basically said, hey, in order for me to let go, I got to redirect my energy, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to raise my skill level in this thing. And I'm going to get better and better and better. And it really does help you to let go.
Exactly. No, that's so good that you mentioned the how aspect.
Yeah, because that part is hard. You're like, I want to let go. I want to go,
but like how?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so much easier said than done, of course, too. Yeah. But the fact that you've figured out for yourself and sharing that with us, that's amazing. That's good.
It was tough though. Oh man, really, really tough, because I'm doing all the things. Oh, write in journal, listen to this, meditate, all this, exercise, get up early, go to bed early, and you're just like, okay, it feels good, but why can't I still let this go? Because it's you really need to find your happy place and understand that you want to continuously raise that skill level in just whatever that makes you happy. You know what I mean? Your goal is to always be a better version of you. You know what I mean? Be the best you can be.
Exactly.
And it really does. I mean, for me at least, it helped me to let that go, because it's when you're so deep into this, you're like, that's a time waster. I can use that hour of resenting and being in such a bad place in my mind to putting more time into this, where if I put it out, people are going to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get an adrenaline rush from them enjoying it. You know, like it just keeps on energizing.
It's just this whole like cycle. Yeah. It's just trying to get that positive feedback, get that positive energy back.
Surge.
And
just like how it happened to you. You're like, hey, you know what? Universe, just give me anything.
Just give me something.
Yeah, and
like,
then
I don't need a lot. I just need to call it a sign, something to just let me know, like, I'm just not in this alone. That I'm not like just like aimlessly just wandering like
and then you die.
And then I die. Like I realize like what brings me joy is, and for you too, is creating things. And I think that's the closest to just feeling like, I mean, if you think about a god, goddess, or powerful being, like they're all about creating things. That's the closest to being like your most powerful self, is when you create something, whether that's cooking,
good connecting,
whether that's cooking, whether that's art, whether that's something like building a software program, whatever is your niche, right?
Yeah.
It's like that's the closest to being like a god, right?
Yeah.
Like being a goddess.
Yeah, you're right.
Just creating stuff, and you're just like, and what makes it even better is if what you create people enjoy, and people take pleasure in as well. And
deep, man.
Yeah, man. I always think of that way. That's like my manic, like my manic moments when I'm thinking like crazy thoughts. But I'm like, you know what? Even though I thought about that in my mania stage, I'm like, that stuck with me. Like that still sticks with me. Like it's the closest to feeling like God. You know, like just being able to create. And so I think, I'm just so happy again that we have this platform to just speak on what we got to speak about. And it just also like being an Asian woman, you know, like it crushes the stereotype, right? Like being timid and shy and like, ooh, like, you know, this temptress, whatever they want to paint us as.
Yeah.
And like, no, well, that might be a stereotype. Like this is me, Debbie.
Yeah.
This is who I am.
We're all different.
This is Liz.
Just like
you know?
how you guys are different.
Nobody fits in a box in this stereotype. Like everyone is so unique and special and different, and they all, I mean, you're all put in this moment, in this time, in this body. I feel like for some reason, whatever that reason is, I don't know exactly, but I just think like for me to just wake up coming out of my mama's womb into my consciousness, into this body, and being raised and born, and now I'm, 33, but going on 34. It's like, to me, it's wild. Like
it is wild.
It's wild. Like just how the world is, and like I swear I'm not high, okay, or manic. I'm just like, this is like how I see things. Like I just think consciousness and it to find a physical shell, which is this body I have right now, my consciousness, is such a trip. And it's like the odds of that happening is like it's just impossible. Like it is, but it is possible because I'm here.
Yeah.
And so I'm just I just realized like I just have to, like you said, be thankful and grateful in these moments.
Yeah.
And no matter, even if I find myself the next day, even if I find myself in bed and sad, like that's okay too. Yeah. That's okay to catch up, and like it's just to find a sense of quietness too, whatever that is. But don't let that be day after day after day. Like be your thing, just like staying in bed all day, because that's just you being depressed, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just like happy that I was able to get out of bed, work that day just for the job, just for the day, the production coordinator position, and just being able to be someone to count on me, the crew count on me, and being able to deliver.
I think you like being accountable, and I do too. I like being like having a sense of like accountability.
I just want to be able to like. I just enjoy being part of a team.
Yeah.
And just like
being part of a creation.
Whether it's being part of creation, but just also like just helping out and just contributing, and then for people to appreciate that. Yeah. Also, like, you know, it makes me feel great. You know, makes me feel useful. So yeah, I just it's like an instant like feedback. You know, like when I am on set and like I'm helping people, I get to, you know, make sure lunch. Well, the biggest task as a production coordinator is just making sure lunch comes in on time.
Yeah,
like,
that's like important.
That's like the most. That really is like if you can get crew meal lunch, like everyone else, like everything else is important too. But if you fuck up on crew meal, that's all anyone's gonna remember.
Don't mess with people's food.
That's all anybody will remember. So so I was glad I was able to pull through on that and just just be able to do my thing and again like. Just to hear from you, like through that text about our fan email, our first fan mail, that felt great too. And it just, the joy, like dwell in that joy and gratitude and just, and it just energized me again. Yeah. So it just, that's what it is. And then I went on a family trip. So that was fun. Went to like, just Santa Barbara area, Carpinteria, all that. And,
are we gonna see some clips from that?
Yeah, I did take some clips.
Ooh, okay, yeah. So we're gonna.
But there's one that's there's a really fun clip that my sister took, and she took that I want to. I mean,
are you gonna make like single clips, or are you gonna make a compilation to show everybody?
I think I'm doing a compilation one, but then this one clip that my sister took is just a standalone. Like it's just like. It's a vertical. It's filmed vertical, so it's like upright.
Are you gonna put that like on
maybe
TikTok?
TikTok is good. Mooncakes podcast story is good. Yeah. I think it's also great.
I'm really looking forward. And you know what? Really your compilation will be our first vlog on the Mooncakes.
Yes. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was really great, and we just ate, and we had a good time, and just. You know, just to be able to spend time with family, I get how lucky I am that I'm cool with my family that we can do that, you know?
Right on.
And so...
Right on.
Just, you know, I'm like, I'm dwelling in that goodness, dwelling in that positivity, you know? Kicked ass on that production coordinating day job and just like, you know, it's just
You're
great.
Debbie!
Just doing it. But yeah, so just
so happy
trying.
For you, man.
Yeah. And so, there's just, of course, I'm always thinking, like, what's next? Like, what am I going to do? Like, focus next. But, like, you know what? This is the present moment. And, like, this is great. Like, this podcast and, like, working with my sister and stuff like that. And, I don't know. It's good. Yeah. It's good. And who knows how I'm going to feel next week or even tomorrow. But, like, at this moment, I'm just, like, grateful.
Yeah, grateful. Grateful. Right on, man. So
# blessed.
And you know what? If you really, I have read up on a lot of like creative minds in the past and stuff. And a lot of the creative minds go through depression. And it kind of, I put the pattern together and I'm like, hey, if you're depressed, you're not creating something you're supposed to be creating. Yes. So let's try to make that as a positive indicator. Like, hey, I'm depressed. That's true. That means, therefore, I'm not doing something that I should be doing, you know, maybe look into that, you know?
I think that's you're right. That's a good, like, little kind of, I don't want to say a flag, just letting you know, like, oh, all right, I'm depressed. Like, what am I not doing? Like, oh, man, like, you're right. Just trying to be creative and just trying to create and stuff like that. That's, it's so important.
I mean, I guess you can look at it as almost like a speedometer or a thermometer. You use it as like a reference.
Totally.
As a reference, and you're just like, and I feel like being in a depressive state, it just means that you're not doing something you should be doing. Yeah. So
I truly believe, like, even if you don't, you know, anyone listening right now, like, they don't agree with this, but I believe that everyone's creative.
Yeah. I do too.
Every human being's creative.
I believe
and when
it.
people think creative, I'm not saying like, oh, you're like Picasso, an artist. Yeah. I'm thinking creative, like even like cooking food, like delicious like food and like cooking up a recipe or like whether that is art, you know, or music or something like that. or writing or something like even just journaling, like
or making it like on YouTube. There's some very unusual channels. Like sometimes I'll see like unusual stop motion, or somebody would be like, oh, I'm gonna make every dish from like a popular movie. Like this one girl, Joseph was looking at, was like, I'm gonna make ratatouille, and she'll like fail like 3 or 4 times, but she'll like get it right. And I mean, there's so many avenues in order to be like, you don't have to go to these big companies in order to be creative. Like
you don't have honestly, what you create doesn't have to be this big masterpiece.
No, it doesn't.
It can be as simple as making a meal for yourself, a nice meal for yourself. Yeah. Like you said, or journaling, you know, like just anything that allows you to express yourself.
Yeah. And like write comics, or I don't know.
Draw,
like,
doodle, whatever. Like origami. Like I don't know.
Photography. You know?
Bouquet of flowers. You like to put flowers together. Like just there's so many different ways.
Or even instructional videos. I don't know. Like creativity
it's
is endless.
But I think it's all of a way for us to express ourselves, and not just express ourselves, but a way to wanting to connect with people on a different level, on a like creative, like emotional, human level. And when you express yourself creatively like that, like for us, like this podcast, this is us being creative.
Yeah.
We get to talk, we get to communicate, and we get to socialize. Like these are hitting a lot of these positive, feel good, like things at least that human beings crave.
Yeah.
And so, who knows? Maybe you guys want to start your own podcast. You know?
Absolutely. I actually got a lot of the inspiration for this because I was driving so much, probably like 40 plus hours a week. And I was just feeling really down, and I was looking for comedians. So I'll look up, I'll like say play comedian, like comics. So I'll listen to comedians while I'm driving. And then I found out they did their own podcast. So it's a little bit different from their stand-up stuff. It's a little bit more intertwined with just casual talk and
life
stories and stuff, and kind of get to know them better. And I've listened for months and months, and I was just like, you know what? I know how to distribute music. Distributing a podcast can't be that difficult. So it just like, I had that feeling in my, I had that in my mind, and
that knowledge, that experience.
That knowledge, and just like listening to so many different podcasts, and I'm just like, not even just comedian podcasts, but maybe some informational podcasts, and I'm just like, dude, I feel like I want to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the opportunity came, and I think I just started meeting up with Debbie, and I was just like, let's just fucking do it.
Honestly, you just called me up, and you're like, hey.
Yeah.
So you can say no to this. Like, you're like, you can say no to this if you want. Like, but how do you feel about doing a podcast together? And I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah. And I was like,
yes. Let's totally do it. Like, I had all this, I have gear. I had some stuff, a few things.
Yeah.
You had your own gear too. And like, with our powers combined.
Yes.
We created Mooncakes podcast. It was this, it just felt so right. And it just was organic.
Yeah. And it was a very auspicious day.
No, when we met, we met on Mooncakes, like the Moon Festival.
Moon Festival, Moon
Harvest Festival.
Yeah.
So we're just like, you're the one that's like, we should call ourselves Mooncakes. I'm like,
that's it.
Yes, we should.
Yeah, it just, you're right, organically happened, and then is like, we're on our 20th. And it's kind of cool that we're talking about this, because this is our 20th episode, and we didn't even plan to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice that everything's just coming into place. Like, just so effortlessly. With a little bit of effort, but effortlessly, all this talk is coming out. It's really nice. I think it's just a good time in our lives, and we're glad that we can share this with you guys. Because, hey, if you're having a bad day, you're having a bad week, a bad year, whatever, just keep trudging on, okay?
Hold on.
Yeah, hold on for that ride.
I promise you, I know it sounds so cliche,
It does, but
it does
it's
get
true.
better. It does get better, and you just have to hold on, even if it's just a little glimmer of hope, a little glimmer of joy, whatever it is. Like, you just have to know, like, what you're feeling at this moment. It might feel like negative, and like that's all you see. That you think this is your new normal.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, it is not. It's not new normal. Do not accept that as your new normal. Know that all it takes is just, first of all, baby steps. And it's okay if you take a step back.
Yeah, that's okay too.
1 step forward, 2 steps back. 3 steps forward, 5 steps. Like, it just, as long as you just keep on trying for yourself, even baby step. You don't need to, like, it's not like night and day where you just wake up and like, I'm just gonna drink a smoothie, I'm gonna run, I'm gonna do this. Like, no, just like take it a little time. I'm still going through my own like down. Like, I'm feeling better these days, but I'm still going through these downs. Like, I was just talking with Liz last week, like, and I was crying.
Was it last week?
Or 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
I was crying because I was like, I was feeling down, and I was feeling like, it's been hard to get out of bed lately. It's been hard to do this, and
that was just like, we were just hanging out in the patio, and then we were having some wine, and Donna made us like, food. She made a cheese plate and stuff, and we were chilling, and we just started talking. And I love that. It just talking helped us get to that point. You know what I mean?
And that's why, and I think Donna just asked me the question. She's like, how are you doing, Debbie?
Yeah.
Like, how are you doing? Because Liz would ask me that. But I think I purposely...
Well, I wanted to wait until you're ready because I knew something was up.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to
push it. No, and I appreciate
that.
But
of course, like...
when I hear from Donna, it's like, it's really hard to... Like, my sister...
I knew you were having a hard time.
My twin knows everything, you know? She, like, knows what I'm going through and stuff, so she knows everything. And so it's hard for me to lie to her or like avoid answering questions. So when Liz asked me, oh, how's it going? I'm like, everything's good. Everything's, I'll keep it patient, very surface. Yeah. I'll keep it on the surface with Liz.
But I know she ain't, but I know I'm here every week. So, it was like we're going to get to that point.
Yeah, exactly. So it was tough. So I cried, and I really did. And that was like 2 weeks ago. And that was like very recent. And it was because... And it is because, like, I just, just being bipolar, and I'm not trying to use it as a crutch, as a, like, oh, because of my mental illness, I'm like this, or I'm like that. Like, it really, but having a mental illness, like, bipolar specifically is what I have, type 1, it really takes a toll on, for at least I can speak for myself, it really takes a toll on my self-esteem. It really takes a toll on how I feel about myself.
And isn't it exhausting?
It's exhausting. It's like, I think I mentioned before, but it's like building a sandcastle.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's like building a sandcastle only for it to be washed away again.
Oh my
And you build and build and build. So, like, I spent years, working in production, and for, 5 years or 3 or 5 years, maybe 3 years, I was good, and nothing happened, and I built all these great relationships, and all these people trusted me and could count on me.
It takes time to make relationships like that.
And then all that to come crumbling down in 2017, have that crumble down, and just like my identity was in work, and for that to just crumble away really fucked me up, like emotionally, mentally, and just like my self-esteem is just
and your
was
spirit
shot.
Your
my
spirit was
man.
just like, damn, shot
and
down.
I'm still like, it's been years, but I'm still recovering from that. Like, there's a part of me, and I mentioned this to Donna and Liz, but there's a part of me that's like afraid to be happy, that's afraid to feel happy. Because, like, ooh, what if that's mania? Like, what if that's me being manic, again? Like, or going to be a manic episode. Like, if I'm too excited, I'm too energetic, I'm too, So, so anytime I feel this, like, something good might happen for me, I'm like, nah, like, some shit's gonna happen. Like, I better cool off before I even, like, feel that sense of joy.
So you're like trying to always stay within the middle of the meter.
Yes, yes, this baseline, right?
Which is always so hard to do just to keep yourself at a steady level.
So then the easiest thing to do would just stay in bed. Would just stay in bed and not look forward to anything, but just day after day, just would stay in bed and just be like, okay, yeah, like of course I would get up, eat, and stuff like that. It wasn't that bad of a depression, but still, like enough where like if I wasn't doing anything, I would just go back to bed, and it's still tough, it's still tough, but I can honestly say at this moment, at least with, this past week, things are better. And who knows how I'm going to feel next week, but I can at least say, like, I'm human, I'm not perfect, and I might seem great in the past couple episodes, and everything sounds great and perfect, and, why would she ever have to complain? But, like, it's just, again, just living with a mental illness is just really fucked me up. So I'm just trying to take it a day at a time and just really enjoy those happy moments, those joy, and really just loving myself and forgiving myself and just to let go. But it's hard for me to I've let go a lot of things. It's funny, like certain things that people do to me, I can let go really easily. But when it's myself, I feel like I not just let people down, I let myself down, I feel like. And so it's really hard for me to let go of that frustration towards myself. Because I'm fucking like 33 years old, Debbie. Like, why don't you have your shit together? Like that's the kind of like mentality my negative mind can get. Yeah. And so, but like having this podcast, like seeing Liz, like seeing you once a week, it's just like, has at least forced me to just be open.
And I think you're articulating your feelings too.
Yes, articulating my feelings for sure.
A lot comes, I'm really proud that you're expressing these difficult emotions and stuff out loud and sharing it with the world, you know what I mean? And I think that there has been a shift. Like I feel like right when I came here, like I did feel like there was a shift going on with you. And
it's tough because you want to maintain this, like, I'm okay, everything's great, you guys, like I'm not down, or everything's good. You don't want to worry anybody, right?
But do you think things get better right once you are genuine and honest about how you're really feeling?
Totally.
And right when you get over that hump, you're like, oh, then I could start mending myself or whatever.
I think the most important thing is to acknowledge.
Yeah, acknowledge
it. Yeah. And I think by Donna asked me that question when we were sitting in the patio over there, it really forced me to like realize, like, you know what, this isn't good.
Yeah, and she was prodding, she was doing her very best to be as gentle as possible, but still she knew she needed to get that out of you. She knew, and it took you a while to put it into words. Yeah, exactly.
No, it was hard because like I didn't even question myself. Yeah, I just like I feel tired. Yeah, my mind like it does feel tired. Yeah. That's why I'm staying in bed and like I didn't question it because I'm just tired. Like, and I don't have like it's not like I have work to do anyways that day, So I'm like I'm just tired. Like, or I can put that off, or I can do this. I can do that later. And days would pass. I'm like, what am I? And I wouldn't even question it. And but then, finally Donna questioned me and it's like, basically like, how are you doing? What's going on? And that's when it's like, gosh, what is going on? Yeah. Like, I just kind of accepted it and just kind of accepted that was my normal. And as long as I'm not, manic, that's great, right? Yeah. But if you're can't get out of bed and you're asleep all day and you're tired and mentally drained and tired, that's wrong too. That's not good either. Yeah. That's not. So it's trying to find that balance, right? That medium that baseline.
And also understanding yourself like further, like really understanding that things are not just black and white.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so the human mind is so
there's definitely no manual.
No manual.
Well, it's kind of piecing together.
Yeah.
These like practices and all this stuff. It's coming together, and it's there to help you, but I still don't it's if you have a computer, every computer is going to work the same, and the same manual is going to work for every computer, but that's not the same thing for humans.
No, not at all. I wish it was that easy where like.
But it's kind of a beautiful thing too.
Yeah.
That everyone is so different and stuff. So like everyone is special in their own different way. And people are like, oh, you shouldn't tell people that they're special, but we are.
But we are. We all have a unique life experience. Mentally, emotionally, like all the stuff we've gone through from when we were born till at this moment, this present moment. There's no one else like you, even if you have an identical twin.
Yeah,
they have different experience from you.
Totally
like it's gonna be different life experience.
Yeah,
and so I'm just grateful that I'm able to express myself properly, and being able to say aloud, like I was down. I'm still like getting out of that funk, but I'm definitely better these days for sure. And that's, what a difference 2 weeks can make, right? And so I just want to keep up on this positive like train and just keep on chugging away. But again, if there's a day that I feel down, that's okay too. I have to make peace with that, but at the same time, not accept that, like, that's just how it is, Debbie. So you just gotta just do nothing about it. Like, no, I got to be proactive about, you have to be if you don't do it for yourself, who will, right? You gotta be proactive for your own mental well-being and your own mental health. And so that's kind of what I don't want to get into detail. I'm not going to say any names or who it is, but like one of my family members, she herself is going through some kind of like, I don't know, funk, or like, I think she has some mental issues, but she refuses to take medication.
Okay.
And because a couple years ago she took medication, it was a bad reaction.
Okay.
She had a bad reaction with it. And at this moment,
as in like side effects?
As in like
physical
she didn't
side
say,
effects or
they didn't
mental?
Say detail, like what was the bad reaction, but she herself had a bad reaction.
She just
didn't want to take it anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why in this present moment, she doesn't want to take any medication. But her condition isn't getting any better. I think she has like some kind of like OCD maybe, some hypochondriac, like she's afraid of everything. And
what a time to be in too, plus with the COVID thing, like
so
probably really hyperactive. And
so it's not my immediate family, but but like it's still a family member. And like our family, like Donna reached out to her sibling and just saying like, hey, if you need any help, like just know that. That's like
cool. Yeah.
And we like, and I even offered too, like, like Debbie's here too, let's talk, like just know that she's not, she needs to know that she's not alone. Yeah. That's not just medication that she needs, like it's a whole support. You need family support. You need to get on the right medication. Yeah. And you yourself need to want to do it for yourself. Yeah. Sometimes you feel like that's your new normal, so you don't know. Yeah. So you need the family support to call you out on it and be like, but in a loving way. Yeah. Just be like, hey, this isn't like you. Yeah. This isn't like Donna. Just to say, hey, like Debbie, how are you doing? Like, what's going on? And she wasn't like Debbie. I noticed that, like, she could have been, like, really negative about it.
Like, why are you being like this? Why are you always in bed?
Why you didn't? And that would make me feel ashamed. That would make me close up. That would make me resent her and not say anything. So it's really it's a very delicate matter, but, like, it runs in the family, So she's going through her own thing. So hopefully, she does get help and everything. But it's just not good. And so, I just want to let anyone out there know, like, if you or you know somebody that's going through something mentally and it's not, it's, I hate to say they use the word normal, but it's not normal of them to be like that. It's out of their usual self.
Yeah.
It's so important to come at them with a loving, supportive tone.
Yeah.
And let them know, like, hey, you're not alone. I'm here for you. And, you know, like,
with compassion.
Yeah. It's really sympathy and compassion. And it's so important that you reach out to that person and let them know that they're not alone. Because number one thing, mental illness makes you feel that you're alone. Makes you feel like you're the only one going through it. No one's ever going to know what you're going through. And what's the point of even trying to explain to anybody? Nobody will get it. Everyone's against you. This, and that.
It's very complicated because you can't touch the problem. It's like
invisible.
It's invisible.
That's what's difficult.
That fucks you up. It's because like you can't touch it. You can't
put a Band-Aid on it.
You can't put a Band-Aid on it. And it's like even if you go through the process of what they say that you should, it maybe not be the right fit for you. And so you're just like, you feel helpless. You're like, oh, that doesn't work for me. But really, everyone, like we said, everyone's different. You got to always find you have to find.
Even if the medication failed the first time, just know there's not just one type of medication.
Yeah, there's so many.
There's so many different ones out there. And I know there's a stigma against, taking medication, but like, so many people do.
Did you have to change doctors frequently in order
to find
the right
I did have to change
one?
The doctor, yes. My last doctor was bad. My doctor before that was bad.
Do you think they were like being too forceful, or they weren't listening?
They didn't care enough.
They didn't care enough. Yeah.
They didn't care. They're just going through and just trying to make a buck and make their money, and just like really short with me and never really listened, and it didn't seem like they really cared. Didn't return my phone calls.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, wasn't available, and so now the psychologist I go to now, like they're just super kind.
On it.
Psychiatrists are really good. Yeah, they're on it, and it's just like they're good and they're very kind. And so I'm currently not at the moment going to therapy, but like I just at the moment
you can't find a right match.
No, I just don't even know what to say to the therapist. I guess it's like, oh, they can ask me questions, but I've been to a therapist before, and she was good. It's just like after a while, I just kind of didn't know what else to say anymore, and so. But who knows? Maybe I'll go back to her if I really feel like I need to.
Yeah.
But at the moment, like, I
felt like the 2 weeks ago that was kind of like therapeutic in a way.
It was but also I felt like comfortable sharing that with my sister because she's like my sister. But she's not a therapist, obviously. But by her bringing this issue that I was having that I didn't even realize I was having, I just kind of accepted it. I kind of knew something was wrong, but like I didn't want to accept it, or I didn't want to acknowledge it. For her to acknowledge it made me realize like, okay, this is something I need to acknowledge too. And so in a way it is therapy, but I feel more comfortable sharing with my family. But I don't want to impose on them either my tears and my emotions. So I understand why, oh, you need to see a therapist, but
I feel that way too, because like, before, me and Josh, bettered our relationship, we got closer and stuff, is I was trying not to, cry in front of him or like tell him my problems, or maybe I was like, oh, maybe it's just in my head. But it does feel so much better.
So does it really does.
When you're honest with one another.
Honest, and you can just speak your truth, right?
Yeah. And then it strengthens the bond, and
it does.
And it just really makes the good moments even better. And it just feels nice that you can go through this with somebody's support.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Like the thing about therapists, like I totally think they're valid and everything, but it's also at the same time I'm like, to speak to someone that knows me personally and that loves me and that cares about me in that way, it's just something different than talking to a stranger that is a therapist. She probably cares about my mental well-being, but
I'm sure they're very knowledgeable, so they can point out and actually put a name to what you're feeling or what you're going through. So that's actually, I think you need a little bit of both.
Of both.
Right?
Of both, yeah.
But I don't think there's any problem, taking a break from therapy and stuff. You don't have to religiously go.
Yeah, if you need a therapist, go see a therapist.
Yeah,
I totally recommend it. I just, at the moment, am not seeing a therapist.
Yeah.
So, but doesn't mean I'm not ever going to. It's just at the moment, I don't feel the need to. But I just really just want to work through my own emotions and just go through it and just be present and just go through it. So, but yeah, so I just appreciate you, Liz. Thank you so much for just not being my therapist, because I don't want to put that on you.
Oh, no.
But like, just listening.
I'm your buddy.
You're my buddy.
Yeah, you're my sister.
Yeah. No, I just appreciate you just being here and just seeing you every week, and just like just everything you put into this podcast, and just just being my friend, man. I really appreciate that.
I'm so happy we got that recorded. So I can listen to it whenever I want.
Over and over.
I love you, man. And it's just a special thing that we can do this together, It's I can't. There's not a lot of people that I feel like I can sit down with every week. And,
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. But I feel like we've had, we talked about it in our last podcast, like how we met and everything. And it just seems like it was fate.
Mm-hmm.
It was truly fate. And I just feel like everything clicked at the right time, right moment. And I'm just so thankful that you would take the time to do this. And,
this is now I need this. It's like I gotta, like, I expect it every week now. It's like, if we don't do it, it's like kind of like, it's crazy. The way I see time is by our by our podcast.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, we're on the 20th episode. So like that's how many weeks now? Like, we're like, I haven't seen the list for 2 weeks. Like, I like judge everything like when I see you. So it's like, you're like, oh, it's been a long time.
I agree. Me too. I do that too. So it's definitely like, even when me and Joseph talk, we're like, like he's like, oh, when are you gonna do mooncakes? What day are you doing that? So it's like, it's kind of like the center of like, I schedule everything around it, and it just helps me, like, just like you said, like how to figure out like what day are we in, or what year, what week are we on, and stuff. So it's really cool, and I really truly am grateful for you and for sharing on this and just seeing you evolve. I mean, if we move forward, backward, whatever, it's just like, it's cool to just sit down wherever we're at, and talk. Yeah.
Well, that's it for this episode.
That's a great way to end it. I had no idea we were ending, but like, that's a great way to end it.
Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, you can email us. Obviously, you can tell how much joy that brings us. We totally geek out and like just get excited just to hear from you guys and gals. And so, feel free to email us at mooncakes.podcast@gmail.com. And follow us on Instagram if you haven't already. Liz, like I said, it's just posts amazing pictures and videos and all that stuff. So we appreciate you guys. And it's at mooncakes.podcast on Instagram. And listen to us on all platforms, whatever. Just tell your friends, your family.
And we'll add everything below. So all you need to do is just click.
Make it easy for you.
Yeah, making it easy for you.
All right. Have a great day, night, weekend,
and
wherever you're at.
We'll, come back next week.
All right.
Take care, everyone.